it is
Mhm.
a completely valid and
Mhm.
reasonable choice for adults to go no contact. And sometimes like
Mhm.
I did and do love my mother and do think she did the best she could. And also, she passed away 3 years ago. And when she passed away, we were completely estranged and hadn't talked for several years. So it is, I don't want anybody listening to the podcast to understand that my compassion for her own trauma and fallenness in any way justifies or defends staying in a relationship with somebody who continues to perpetuate harm. So, like when I was referring to you as an adult, when I founded my own organization, Counter Trafficking, um, our relationship came to the point that it was an ongoing and abusive interaction that was
Yeah.
not safe or healthy or beneficial for either one of us. And so I just wanted to affirm the both and
Mhm.
of I can see and have compassion for where she was coming from. And also,
Yeah,
when
and I'm
she
really
passed away,
glad
we
you
had been
you
estranged for
brought that
several
up
years.
because that's kind of like what I was thinking. How, everybody has different situations. And like for me, if I was like personally like if that happened to me, I probably would have thought differently, but like you said, everyone's different and you definitely um mention how just because you have grace for your mother compassion doesn't mean that somebody else who have been through abuse with their mother feels that they have to stay in contact. So I think that's awesome that you brought that up
Right.
because that is a really good point. That I think that's kind of what I was trying to say until I started like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Going
yeah,
no contact is valid in
yeah.
ongoing dysfunctional relationships. And
That's
so I
yes,
just
that
want
is
to
totally
want
okay
to
to do either
affirm the
or because
both
everyone's
and.
different. And in my, the whole no contact conversation is like pretty common in like my generation. So yeah, and I really love
Mhm.
that we're having this conversation
Yeah.
because it shows like different point of views and generations and how we both respect each other's like view of it. So I think that's good that we're all also having like that conversation at that as well. I want to get into let's talk about your friends that you grew up with. So you went through school just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Did you have good friends that would try to help you get out of it? Like let's talk about your friendships.
Yeah, that is a great question. I did have really good friendships, and some of those friendships, many, many, many years later, you've pointed out we're different generations. So I graduated in 1990,
Let's go.
and some of those friendships still remain to this day. I'm still in contact with some of my childhood friends. My best friend from first grade, I'm still in contact with her, and I'm really deeply grateful for those relationships. When I came out with my book in 2016, which details my journey of what I endured as a child and my freedom since, most of them had no idea what I had been through. Well, I guess some of them knew I did pursue
Mhm.
justice against my grandfather in the mid 90s. And so some of them knew parts of the story from that, but they didn't know the details of the story. And the thing is, I referred to it at the very beginning of my story. The brain has this
Mhm.
amazing capacity to compartmentalize, and it kicks in many times in complex trauma when you're kicked into fight or flight. It just puts that event in a different box. And to survive ongoing violence of the type that I was, the
Mhm.
the brain and body has to be able to put a lid on it.